Hello all, welcome back to Feldy, Farmer Yip's map for Farming Simulator 11. We, of course, have been working hard on getting, oops, and I didn't mean to step out of my tractor, but we've been working hard on throwing all the manure out to the fields, and ditto with the liquid manure and the slurry down at the BGA. I think we are almost complete with the process, and I don't remember how much this thing holds, but this is probably enough to take the last out of this tank. We will see. I'm seeing more and more concrete each time we come over here to load it up. And indeed, the level is sunk quite a bit. I'll be curious if the plane at the bottom totally disappears when we're done. Oh. Alright, well, it looks like we're gonna have another load. And as it is, we have cattle regularly producing more of it. And as I look at the right here, I'm reminded I need to give them some grass. I guess we have 22,000 in there. I just know we're going to go through that faster than we think. So I've got a couple loads here. I maybe have some loads of grass that I need to haul in. But, you know, I've been amazed at how much of the place I've been able to, you know, either spread manure, slurry, or the liquid manure on. And it's really only the fields kind of up top, you know, dead ahead. I don't think I put any in there. I kind of think I started with the one down the hill here, the funny shaped field, the fish field or whatever. Yeah, there you can kind of see the outline of where it went. Actually, did that go? Yeah, you know what? We'll just continue kind of where we left off, just knowing we have about one more of these, and then that's going to be all she wrote. And the rest we'll need to cover, you know, using the kelp fertilizer or the new granular stuff. Now, disappointingly, the new granular stuff doesn't appear to have, a different appearance. So it'll be still the same old green stuff, because I think that's the only fertilizer spreader that we have, you know, is the one that has green in it. It looks still like kelp. So I could be wrong on that, but I don't think Farmer Yip had another fertilizer spreader. Maybe we could get our own modded spreader, and yeah, I just don't know that I'll do that at this point. I'll just assume that all fertilizer is green. And as we look over here, we have a significant area down, and yeah, I may just try to pick all this up and feed it out to the cattle. I know in the past we've really only cut grass over there just once, and it was to make some hay. Back in the early days when we had more time than money, that was pretty helpful to cut all that over there, and at the time build up some courses so we could just come in later and at the push of a button, you know, have our hired guys kind of take care of windrow and all of that. But now I think I'm going to try to utilize most of it on the cattle if I can. Sorry, I'm kind of zipping around in here. How much do I got left? 12? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have enough here to finish the field. Maybe? Just kind of taking just barely cover that down here in the fishtail. So maybe have hopefully enough to get to the other end here. Plus, it's getting plenty dark in here, so it's only going to get tougher to see where we're going. And But I'll tell you, every time I fast forward now, I gotta be thinking of the cattle. Oh, I miss it. That spot. Because even though we've fast forward time and it doesn't harm us, with the crops and everything, the cattle, they're hungry buggers and they keep eating us out of house and home. It's amazing how much even just 8 cattle eat. But they've given us a lot of milk, and as you look at our cash reserves, we are certainly not hurting for money. It just keeps going up in spite of the fact, that we've purchased a lot of new equipment here, especially more recently, to haul the manure and everything like that. So we're going to have close to one more load down there. I assume it'll be enough to finish this field. So what it means is we'll need to go pick up our main spreader or our granular fertilizer spreader and take it over the fields kind of up top. That is the top of this ridge and kind of over here and to the left. I don't think I've been in there to spread any slurry. But every other field has, all been taken care of. So this is all with the intent of getting them ready to plant. And most of the planting I typically do off cam. It's, I don't know. Who knows what people want to watch in here? I tend to think that people are more interested in harvest than they are in any other field operation. I didn't put any slurry on the red clover kind of up on this V-shaped field. So maybe I'll come in with some granular. I don't know. One more load. That is, if they haven't created any more. Liquid manure. 10,582. Yeah, we'll be lucky probably to finish the field over there. We'll take whatever we can get. One more and we'll get this going here. Oops. Careful you don't end up in the hoy. Years ago, I heard a story of someone in one of our Midwestern churches was a farmer, had a manure lagoon, and I think was pumping manure out of it, and the poor fellow, don't know what happened with it. Oh, look at that, it emptied out. Perfect. It's more than emptying out. But the tractor was pulled in backwards to the lagoon, and unfortunately he passed as a result, drowned in it. Not a good way to go, but it does happen. Don't even need to drown in it. Those manure pits are pretty dangerous with, I don't know what gas it would be. Maybe it's just carbon monoxide. It's odorless, generally speaking, and it's deadly. So, I've heard all kinds of stories of people going in there, getting stuck, they're cleaning it out or whatever, and others going in to rescue, and then they themselves succumbing, and it's just not an optimum situation. Alright, one more load, and I wish I could see better. I think the end of it is out here. There we go. I can see the end now. There we go. I'm kind of torn with finishing all the we need to do on fertilization versus taking care of our cattle. So we get this down to a single width. out there. Maybe that's not quite. And turn around and try to take the whole swipe. It lets out the same amount regardless of how wide a path you're going. So I'll just try to face it there so I can start and stop it accordingly. Yeah, we'll probably make it, and then maybe even be able to put a dent in the field, the next one kind of on the list. And I do think with this here, we're able to cover just a little more ground each pass than with the granular fertilizer spreader. Boy, if we make it, it's going to be barely. Boop. Let me turn it off. Just a wee bit left. Let me see, you've got to be strategic about this. Maybe try to do it side to side so I can be as efficient as possible. Boom. Yeah, I'm not going to have much of any left when I head kind of up the hill. That little dab. One more. And that's it, folks. The fish field is fertilized and awaiting planting. And that's something else I gotta figure out. Part of me doesn't hardly want to plant the whole farm again, knowing probably going to be through with the map shortly. I don't know how many more episodes of this I can bore everybody with. So, and I've in the background been trying to figure out, where I'm headed next. I still think, I'm enjoying Farming Sim 11, and I think I'd like to do another Farm Sim 11 map. I don't know. Call me a sucker for nostalgia. I still enjoy this old game. It's like I missed a little spot, but that's okay. We'll just get as much up here as we can. That is all. Alright, I'm going to take this back and we'll park it kind of over by the manure pit and leave her set. Let me see if they generated any more. Liquid manure. They have. I don't know how often the cattle do something, like create milk or create poop, But evidently in the time we were just out putting some down, they made more of it. But probably not enough to show the plane at the bottom of the concrete bunker. So I'm just going to go park it and drop it and leave it. We kind of have, we got that other thing over there collecting solid manure, but maybe I'll take care of the cattle, seeing as how the day is wearing on. Make sure they have enough food to weather the night. I gotta think, where did I put? I wonder if it's over. Yeah, we'll find it. Now, is that flat enough? I keep it out of the way as best I can, so I better give it just a little more space. Kind of hard to use a keyboard to back up, but it can be done. Alright, that ought to be good. We'll let her set there. And then let's head over here. Done with the manure for a spell. I'm going to see if our trailer is... Yep, there it is. We'll go pick it up, and we're going to haul it out south. Or excuse me, out east. pick up some grass. Now, ordinarily, it seems like the grass patch kind of up on the hill is enough, but yeah, I don't know, I maybe got a little bit behind, and I'm not sure how consistently they eat the food either, by the way. There's our cows roaming the pastures, thinking happy cow thoughts. Yeah, I have a course set up so we could cut the grass in the pasture too, but I figure since the cattle are in there eating it, I'll leave it alone. There's our 4 pigs. And we have all the feed stuff over here we could cut too. But again, I don't know how many cattle I'm going to be raising as the series kind of comes to an end. So I don't know if I'll cut any more. Maybe need a little bit for hogs. We'll see. Here. Now, actually, I wonder how this does. I'm going to find it again. I use the same course that was used to cut. Now this is kind of east, Vale, or let's see, it would be called grass central east. No, grass east. Maybe. No, that ain't it. Okay, reset. This fish field, east south, northeast swath. No, let's see, we're on the northeast side. I wonder if that's the field over there. Northeast bale cell. Trouble is, by the time I figure it out, I probably have, you know what, forget horseplay. We're just gonna do it. I need to lower something. I think we're all set. Alright, out to the field we go. I don't anticipate this is gonna bring in tons of product, but it'll be some, and it'll stack up and help feed our cows. I think right now we had, what was it, 21,000 liters in the feeding trough, 250,000 for the silage, so that's kind of a good reserve. I just want to make sure they have enough to make the night. So I can take care of the cows clear until the end of the series. Oh. This is the trouble with too many twists and turns. In the windrows, it gets a little bit harder to pick up. At least for my fumbling fingers. So I'll get a load or two of this, and that ought to tide them over for the night, and then I think I'll finish fertilizing, and all the fields are cultivated. Oh, you know, we still got the island field out there. Yeah, there's quite a bit of fertilizer to still put down. But once I get that done, then planting will commence. I want to be sure to plant some potatoes. You know something? Looking off into the water, you can see the green. I wonder if I need to change that in the map. Maybe it's just this time of night. Instead of, I think in the day you see just blue. Oh, there's a little bit of rock. Yeah, doesn't look the best. Oh, here's I'm talking. I realize I almost have a full trainer. Not bad. just need to be mindful as I pick it up, so... Today, before making an episode in here, I mentioned earlier I've been thinking about other maps for Farming Sim 11, and I'm thinking maybe this next time I'd like to tackle a 4X map, a larger one, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I've always generally preferred the larger maps. They just tend to, in being bigger, it just feels a little more realistic. And so I know there's a number of 4X maps out on Mod Hoster for Farm Sim 11, so I'm thinking of giving one of them a try. And this week I revisited a 4X map that I had tried way back, kind of when I first discovered Farming Simulator 11, really the whole Farming Sim franchise. And this one here, what was it called? Salem, South Dakota. And I don't think I'm going to do a series on it, but it was just kind of interesting to, go back and take a look at it. It's kind of like with this one here. I spent a fair amount of time on it back in the day too, but not quite like with Salem, South Dakota. I made a couple of episodes really just to kind of get a picture of the map, show how some errors could be handled and gotten rid of. Say back then, it had this error that was recurring in the log, filling it up, blowing it up. Eventually it would crash your game if you didn't attend to it. So it had a lot of problems. And plus, the models you used in it aren't near the quality that they are even on here. And back in the days of Farm Sim 11, there was a lot of things that were quite a bit more plain Jane, so to speak. Let me see here. Will you give me a trigger? Is it still on? It was still on, trying to collect grass. Oh, there we go. One of them. Yeah, I don't know that I'd sing maybe a little bit higher than. There we go. Look at the grass fill up. All those happy cows. Alright, that got us to 73,000. I'm going to take it back to the field and maybe leave it there. That's probably enough to get us through the night. And if not, I'll keep an eye on it when I fast forward. And then I'm going to go get some fertilizer, start cracking on the fields just as well. Try to get that done so we can plant. Again, consulting my list right beside me here on the other screen of some things that I still want to do in here, and all trying to get toward the special mission. And in order to do that, of course, I need some potatoes, I need some hogs. So we have some of that coming. Oh, and some eggs. I have some of those things, but not everything. Where did I drop off? Was this? Yeah, it's a little bit ways down there. So head down, out, and given that I couldn't even make a whole round, and I had a full trailer, there's gonna be a lot of grass here. And I can probably just leave it here as inventory, frankly. There's no consequences, if it gets rained on or anything like that, so why not? Alright, okay, let me see. That's with the cedar. Let me see. Go to this one. Alright, here we are at the fertilizer plant, and I believe this is where we get fertilizer. Yip's little sign is there. But like I say, I have a feeling it's going to continue to be green. Come on, I know there's a trigger in here somewheres. Oh, for goodness sakes. Alright, let me try coming the other way. Well, maybe I've discovered a trigger that doesn't work. Whoops. Good thing the kelp has Velcro on it. Alright, let me try to hug this wall, because I think it is right near the end down here. There. Now, I don't know what we're in. Right there, that's particle animation for, oh yeah, there's the granular stuff. No, it looks pretty cool, if it only looked that way. Anyway, that's particle animation, kind of for a silo or whatever, but we are seeing it here with the fertilizer. Now that I have a full wagon, I'm going to be burning fuel like crazy. So, now what's the quickest way to get up top? Probably, well, let me just, when in doubt, pull open the map. Yeah, it's 6 ways, half a dozen of the other. I'm gonna head down. And then our tractor and planter unit. Oh, this is just bouncing all over an idiot kid in the proper lane. Is sitting out in the field, waiting for us to come activate it and get planting some potatoes. I'm going to be planting a lot of potatoes this time around, just for kicks. And one of the final things I hope to do in this map is to fly an airplane over it. There is a little mod, and I gotta re-figure out how the silly thing works every time I try it. It's very prone to crashing, so fortunately there's no deaths experienced here in Farm Sim from crashed flights or anything else. But I've been wondering where a suitable airstrip, would be. Maybe I'll just use one of the fields. We'll find a way. Alright, got one other field kind of up and around over here, so I'll go take care of that. And then I'll be coming the same direction down through here. Chickens are over there. Keep laying, you old biddies. Whoop. Yep, just up the hill is where we're going to end up. So we'll get ourselves up there and keep scattering fertilizer. Whoops, I think there was a solid post in there. Yeah, this mod sort of defeated me in terms of, being able to figure out how to make it more stable, and I just couldn't. I'd like to add more weight to it. It seems, really loose and floppy, and I'm sure there's probably a way to do it, and I know how to do some things. Definitely have a lot more to learn. Sometimes when I'm turning a corner in here, it just looks brilliant, as if it works great. Then there's other times where it's like, you wouldn't have that kind of contortions in real life. There we go. And there's the bell. Put everyone out of their misery. So, like I say, we're just kind of checking the boxes here as we wind down the fall work and get ready to plant a new crop. So I will definitely be doing quite a bit of work here off cam to get going. Probably finish the fertilizing at least, before we're ready to continue planting down there. But we are very close to getting the drill going and getting the whole estate all, getting the estate all ready to go for another season. So, thank you for watching, those of you that stuck through with this as we continue exploring this beautiful old map from Farming Simulator 11. You can say what you want about the game, but Farming have truly created a masterpiece that some of us here still enjoy. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.